Hi guys. Well, it's been a whole month of, of rain and weather in the 30s and 40s, but New York City hasn't been covered in snow. So it makes this artist appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I think anyone, not just artists, but people who's ever watching this, it makes you really appreciate the weather sometimes when it doesn't snow in January. And then you have a different sense of walking around, especially in New York City. You can walk around more, and that walking involved just is so detrimental sometimes because you don't want to be around in the home all the time. And if you are, you do find creative ways, like I do sometimes, like weekends. Weekends I've been making, as you see in my posts, if you follow my Instagram, TikTok, I've been making more of my ornaments, and I'm grateful for that. I really am that I have time to do that. But then sometimes I feel like I'm missing some sanity of fresh air, like here, stuck in little my basement, which I'm grateful for, by the way. Very grateful for that. I still have these little things that I don't want to take for granted, and I'm not going to take for granted. But also, it's a place where, in this space of mine, I don't really show you guys too much my other sides of my exercise. I struggle with exercise every other day for the last 30 years of my life. 48 years of my life. Not really 48. Ever since I was 12, exercise has been a struggle for me. There are some things that I learned along the way, about eating and when to exercise and when not to exercise and what to eat at those moments and what's going to be bad for me and what's going to be good for me. And that's a constant battle. So in the midst of my eating, there's also playtime. I like to call it playtime. What am I doing to move my body and express myself? So that's, my whole rant about going outside and finding exercise in the basement. And you can see that can cause me some stress sometimes because I want to go outside. Don't get me wrong, and making sculptures and coloring and painting. But I also like taking fresh breath air and looking at sunsets and looking at sundown and looking how beautiful the city can be. I work. I help people with mental and physical disabilities. I still have to show up. It's a big part of me. Responsibility. Bills got to get paid. But I haven't stopped my art journey. That's what I want to let you guys know. I haven't stopped. I have been trying to figure out ways to keep the art open, keep the shop open, enjoying it. I found out when I was very young that making art was fun, and it still is to this day. But I pulled away from social media a little bit because of the ideas that I once agreed with, and now I see they are not true at all. Well, please take it and understand. What I'm saying is your journey, how you find it on your own. I'm not going to sit here and say, I know how to be an artist. I don't make how to sales, and I'm not selling something. Everybody has to, I think, not everybody, but some people would like to sell their items, and I love that part too. I want you to also realize, as someone who's just, if I wasn't an artist, I do other things of services, and I don't want every time a service want money or tips. No, appreciate my products and love them. I don't expect people to. I make a new item and bam, buy it. It doesn't work that way. I find out in real world. Push it. I have to do other steps. If people really love my products, they'll buy it. But it's also a great compliment when people just say cute and they really like my work, and I love that too, that aspect, because it makes me feel good that I love something. And right now, that's where I'm at with my ornaments that I've been making. I've made almost close to 100, maybe 200 ornaments, and I haven't stopped. And I'm drawing and doodling at work sometimes. I'm thinking about the next shape, and that's fun. That's the fun part for me, the art part. 4 years on here on this YouTube journey that I've been posting as much as I can when I can, and learning about camera equipment, audio equipment, and content. Content has been the most funniest thing of everything. I mean, if I didn't have a great camera, if I didn't have a great audio, I should have great content. And I realized in my 4 years, I have content, but it's not what a lot of people get, the 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 million. I knew in the beginning I wasn't going to have that. I never expected that. What I'm finding out of the expectations is my expectations is the community I'm developing and the people that come along this journey. Not many people will comment, and when people do, that's great. I love that. Relationships through that. Trove Arts, love these guys. They're always on these two are a great team, Aaron and Julia. They're on the YouTube. Please check them out. They're not as much on YouTube, but they're social media. They're always doing great arts, and they're in another state doing amazing artistic things, and that's a motivation that motivates me. And knowing that these two are artistic and share so much of themselves and do a service. And as for me, myself, I have my goals for February have been, they're right now slow. I'm really slow. I go into another hobby. I actually right now, I never really talk much into my other interest, which I would love to. I love songs. I love stories behind it. And that my wife is great at that. She'll sit there and tell me the meaning behind stories and producers and all this great stuff. But for me, I also I like vampire stuff and werewolf stuff and horror genre and podcast. I love podcasts, especially when I'm walking. I love podcasts. And I've been listening to many podcasts, but there are some references and books that I collect. I don't read them all the time, but I do collect. And maybe I'm guilty of that. I watch too much videos and I listen to too many audiobooks. I love a good book when you can touch it and turn the pages. An avid person who likes watching TV shows. Right now, I'm into The X-Files, which was in the 90s. I was probably very young in the 90s. I was probably 18, maybe 13 or 14, maybe in my teens, my late teens, and I never watched The X-Files. And now I'm watching it, and I know how corny it is for me, but I also enjoy the storylines and the relationships and these cast of characters. So it's kind of weird. I can almost hear the theme song right now of The X-Files. Being a younger kid, I play with video games, but I'm not into video games like that anymore. I'm more into the lore of games. A company called Bethesda Studios, they make a game called Elder Scrolls. The lore is fantastically crazy and depth, and you can type in YouTube, they have probably millions of videos on Elder Scrolls video games and whatever, but the art is great. The complex relationships that they have in the game is fantastic. Not just holding a controller or a keyboard, but there's so much more to it, and the community that's involved. Yep, so that's it for my month, this month of January to February. And I just want to thank you guys for watching, and maybe you have some more interests. What do you have an interest, guys? If you saw this video, just tell me if you saw it all the way through. Maybe you write a favorite show that you like. It doesn't have to be current. Doesn't have to be anything. Just anything. It could be any age group anywhere. If you're 90 years old, 80, 70, 60, maybe a kid. I don't care. Put a comment of what your favorite show is and what your interests are. And maybe you have questions for me that you want to ask more. I'll try to answer my best too, as also. So don't be shy, and I'll try my best to answer them. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.